ANMAtalks is an initiative for sharing knowledge between students, staff, and management of the Nordic and Baltic Academies for higher music education and anyone else interested. Welcome to this 5th edition of ANMAtalks, where we've invited Sophia Sagaradze to share a project presentation with us.
Today, we've invited Sophia to give a talk about a project that she's doing with a co-alumni, I think the right description would be. And it's a really cool project. So, Sophia, the word is yours. And thank you for coming.
Hello, thanks for the invitation. I'm so happy to be a part of this talk. I'm Sophia Sagaradze. I'm from Georgia, and I'm currently based in Denmark. I had my bachelor in classical composition, but I studied on DEM and the electronic composition in Denmark. And I have graduated my master's this summer. I'm mostly working now with the multi-channel setup and some interactive installations. And while I was graduating, even I have to also mention this, that because I'm a citizen of the Georgia, I was even not thinking to apply for the soloist because then I had to pay. So I was kind of struggling what was next step for my life and how I was able to work on my projects or on my direction, which is currently mostly in the multi-channel setup. So then I came up with this idea to create Aarhus Lydforening, so Aarhus Sound Association, which is, I won't say that it's a new idea because probably some of you have this experience in another countries. For example, at Oslo, there is a center of the NOTAM, or do you have in Malmö also there's a center, or actually DM a few years ago was also some kind of sound artist association, but there is a big problem now in Aarhus that we kind of getting lost after the graduation. So we'll just talk about this existent problems. So one thing was that we, me and also my friends, we found out that we want to plan what can we do after the graduation, but also there is a big changes always in the technology. So for example, 3 years ago, the RAMA students, they didn't have any access on the multi-channel setup, for example, and we didn't have any knowledge in it. But after 3 years, we have totally different reality, and we have the same feeling now that after 3 or 4 years, there will be another developments or another changes, which we also want to get, even though that we are not students anymore. We had a lack of the working space, lack of equipment, which was even more extreme in the way that we are not asking just 1 or 2 speakers. We were struggling with this big multi-channel setup, which is at least 16 speakers, for example. And it was not worthy to have just single owner of it. And there was a big struggling in the way that there is no future in Aarhus. So we were kind of thinking that, okay, you're graduating the studies and then you have to run out of the country or run somewhere. And even it was the problem that maybe we even don't know if it makes sense to move in Copenhagen. And we had the big example for us that, okay, maybe people who are studying in Oslo, they are even more lucky because then they can go to NOTAM and keep developing. So I write down what do we need. It was like physical space, community to create the collaborations, organizing the projects, and same time have more space also for the creativity, and stay tuned, which is really important because we really need to update each other. And I don't know if it's same in the other countries, but we have a different funding system in Denmark, and mostly you need to be like, you need to have a CVR, so you need to be a part of kind of so not the single person, so you have to be some part of an association or some business or something to apply for funds and get fundings for your projects. So there should be some collective which can apply for you. And also I have to say that there was another goal as well. The one was that as an artistic view, but the second view is to have more like sustainability or reusability as a goal, how we can contribute as an artist to the world. So this Aarhus is just this shared equipment and shared working space without these technical barriers, and to have a more space for this creative process and gain your connections, get this support, and help each other. And especially use the space for the installations and so on. And I think that we don't want to have big educational space where we're going to teach a lot or take lots of responsibilities. It should be really neutral, common working space without any pre-checking how is the artist's taste or have some kind of extra direction and goal. It will be just really open for everyone which is interested in experimental music or with using electronics and the music. But we're trying to also provide some meetups and seminars and talks for just updates, and have workshops, for example, how to make, I don't know, contact mics or dummy heads, or also have an access on the small studios, and use this equipment, portable multi-channel equipment for the other installations as well, and also apply for funds under this association. And probably in the future we will have also open calls for the other projects. And I was just trying to really see the project from the different point of view, as is it's really beneficial for artists, but also it should be really interesting for the Aarhus Kommune or the institutions to map the city on this like artist life, because everyone kind of knows some big cities like Oslo, and also currently I'm in Vilnius. We have some workshops together where lots of artists are coming and working together and gain the connections. And we were discussing exactly 2 days ago how totally changed Vilnius life after these communities, and how fast is developing also like artists creativity in it, and how different scene do they have now after 5 years. And also which will be really interesting for the venues, because there are some equipment, for example this multi-channel setup, which doesn't make sense also to have in all the venues. But if the artist can kind of rent and make the installations pretty easily, then whole city shares view a few equipment in it, and there are lots of projects going on also, and people are staying in the city and doing, and also have possibility to work internationally also. So, and also it will be really supportive for me from my side, also for Rama, for the academy, because then it makes sense to come in the city and learn, and then gain the connections and see the future in the city as well, that you can work. Because this was also why my struggling in the way that I made my master project with this, how to use multi-channel setup and check all the different panning types, and spend whole year working on it. But after graduation, I was just lost, and I couldn't really work at all after that. And it will be also a touristic view is really important when you are going in the city. What cultural life do they have in it? And I was taking the example from Oslo as Notam, and also from Malmo. Also, I met some people here. But one of the main goal, this green goal, which is more ecological, is really important for me to repair and to collect second-hand instrument. And we already started collecting some old mixers or old equipment that people are contributing, and we also don't want to buy any other furniture, and our goal is to reuse everything what we can, to reuse and keep like simply, and have a cheap process at some point. So what do we need now? We thought a lot. It is the big problem. What do we have now? Is we just need the space, which will cover our. What do we need is just one big room and small rooms for the studios, and the basic equipment to start. And it will be a big investment for the other projects as well. And then we can run whole the process with just small symbolic membership fee, and apply for funds and work on the individual projects as well. So it should be really simple, no educational space, like really equal for everyone, and open for everyone who wants to work and get a new inspiration and idea for that. So that's the idea behind the ALF, which is not the new, but really important for the artist community.